What's going on, guys? So today we're looking at a cold steel knife, but this one is not really what you think. You know, when I say cold steel, I mean, or someone else says cold steel, first thing I think of is the biggins. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think when I think cold steel. Well, first I think Lim Thompson, because as a teenager getting into cold steel, he was one of the cooler dudes, you know, cutting cows in half and stuff in all of his fruit videos. So he obviously stands out. He's quite a character. Had the pleasure of meeting him twice in my life and having a small, short conversation. But anyway, cold steel, I think of the biggins, the big boys, you know, the XL Vaqueros, you know, and the Voyager line, and all they're just massive folders, almost comical to some people, but extremely useful, extremely durable, extremely sharp, amazing cutlery. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about this little old classic knife. This is the Lucky. So this is it's actually an Andrew Demko design, which I'm sure you're not surprised. A lot of the cold steel stuff was. And this has two blades in it. All right, so open this side. You can see we have, it says Lucky right on the blade there. But we have a little pen blade. Well, I shouldn't say little. This is 2.6 inches long. And this is in a CPM S35 VN steel. And I can tell you from personal experience of carrying and using this thing is friggin' sharp. That's right, it's not even sharp, it's friggin' sharp. That's like, you know, a couple levels up from sharp. And I love it, it's fantastic. But on the other side, we have another blade. And this one is fully serrated. So what's kind of cool about this, and I had a Leatherman, I can't think of the model off the top of my head, but you guys can probably chime in at some point. But I got it in a trade, and it was the same deal. Very simple, two-bladed, you know, pocket knife essentially, but having one blade fully serrated, one blade, you know, fully plain edge is a huge advantage, because I do, you know, see the value in serrations, and there's definitely a time and place for serrations. And I've always said this before, is that if you're going to go serrated, go fully serrated, completely commit. I'm not a huge fan of little tiny half-inch to 1-inch serration, you know, on combo edges. Either it's serrated or it's not to me. And there's definitely some situations where you'd want a serrated blade, especially with some fibrous materials and stuff. And cold steel does do a very good job with their serrations. You know, they're pretty wicked. If you've never had a cold steel knife with a serrated blade, they're awesome. They're really awesome. But not a lot of people like them because they just don't know how to sharpen them, or they just can't sharpen them properly. I could tell you, I sharpen a lot of knives. I've sharpened hundreds, if not thousands of knives in my lifetime. However, some serration patterns are harder to sharpen than others, and there's some serration patterns that I just have not had luck sharpening. You know, generally I'm using a tapered stone, but something like this has a very small serration pattern. And although you can get a very fine edge on a stone, you could probably get in these scallops pretty decently, especially with a tapered stone. But those itty bitty little ones there, I don't, you know, I probably would not be able to successfully sharpen those tiny little teeth, okay? So how I see this is the blade that does not get used. In fact, I only use this maybe 3 or 4 times just to cut through some cardboard to see the resistance in this serration pattern. The idea for me anyway is that you keep your serrated blade tucked away for a rainy day. All right, you don't even bother with it. What we have here is a little pocket knife with one blade. And if for some reason this thing goes dull on you, if you're negligent, just kind of forgot, I shouldn't even say negligent, because, you know, keeping your knives sharp, it's important to a lot of people, but to many people it's not. If you're a knife person, you probably keep your blades pretty darn sharp all the time. But I even know some knife people, and even myself, I have to admit, right here on camera, that once in a blue moon, I'll let a knife go dull, just because I'm busy, just how it is. I also happen to have thousands of knives, so it's not a big deal. If you only had one knife and it went dull, that'd be more of an important focus. But yeah, it just happens. Life happens, you know. You live your life, and sometimes, oh, forgot to sharpen my knife, or forgot to strop it up, whatever it is. So your knife gets a little dull. Guess what? You have a backup blade, all right? That goes for, it doesn't have to be serrated. It goes for any multi-bladed pocket knife. That's the advantage. I love like 6-bladed traditional style pocket knives because I think it's cool. They not only have all these different styles, but you always have a sharp blade. You can let 5 blades go completely dull and still have a sharp blade. But anyway, the point here is when I see these styles of knives with a fully serrated blade and a plain edge blade, I love it because this is just my backup. If this one goes dull, or even if it's not that dull, but I have something very fibrous I need to cut, where a serrated blade would be a better option, it's here. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. Very simple though. The Lucky it's super cool because it's super lightweight too. This only weighs 1.2 ounces. The blades are just ridiculously sharp. All right, again, these are in CPM S35VN, drop point style blades. These are hollow grounds. I don't know if I can show you that with maybe the glare here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the right angle, but let's see. On the back here, sterile, just says the Lucky on the plain edge blade. And on the other side, we see cold steel. Let me zoom in a little further because that's pretty small on that blade. All right, you can see these were produced in Italy for cold steel. And again, that CPM S35VN is amazing. And it's quite obvious, but in case you don't know, that's carbon fiber for skills. That's what's contributing to such a lightweight knife. All right, and you can see that these are not lines. Okay, so it's not like they're steel liners or anything. But because they're small, because these scales aren't super thin, there's no flex at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really squeeze this as hard as you can. It's not moving. So it's definitely sturdy enough, but super lightweight, which is nice. Also, as you can see in frame right now, we have a nice little pocket clip on here, which is a great addition to, and what this is really is a modern traditional. Now, some people really hate that term. I've said that a couple times in the past in the videos. People are like, that's preposterous. How can it be modern and traditional? Either it's new or it's old. Well, it's new old, you know, or I should say old new stock, maybe. Maybe that's the better way to say old new stock instead of new old stock. Because really what we have here is an age-old design that has been modernized with the materials, the blade steel, the fact that it has a pocket clip is very nice, but you still get the traditional feel. Anyway, overall, I absolutely love this knife, but there is one thing that I have to point out I think is stupid. I just don't like it. You see these finger grooves, all right? You go, whoa, 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 like a little waves or something. When I have both blades out, man, that feels comfortable. I'm gonna try not to squeeze my pinky clearly because it's on the edge of the blade there. But that is super comfy, right? It's nice they put those finger grooves in there. I'll never use them because, as you can see here, you have to have both blades open to feel that handle. If one blade is closed, it is now past the finger grooves. So I don't feel any of that comfortable design. So it looks nice that it looks ergonomic, and again, it feels good if both blades are open, and you will never cut that way, ever. At least you definitely shouldn't. So that was kind of a bummer. I didn't really think about that until I started using a knife. I remember one day I was cutting some water jugs, just some empty water jugs, to try to make recycling, like, you know, smaller. And I just I noticed that, like, I'm feeling the back of this blade clearly, and you know, obviously it doesn't matter which one's open. It's mirrored itself, right? So when you're cutting, you feel the back of the knife here, which is smooth. It's fine. Rest your thumb on, whatever. But you know, it's a thinner edge. So if I'm squeezing hard, you could feel that. And I thought, wait a minute. There's, you know, nice grooves here. And I was trying to hold it and try to figure out some way to use this knife without having to feel the back of the blade, and you can't. You absolutely can't. So if these blades recessed in the handle more and more the handle pushed out, that would make total sense. But really, those little curves in there, those little waves are useless. They're totally useless, which is unfortunate. Just one of those things, which is kind of a shame. Like I said, I mean, I don't know when you'd use your knife like this unless you're in some kind of imaginary fight or something where you're using your cold steel Lucky with no locks on it, mind you. So if these blades do get bumped or closed, you're gonna cut off your pinky and your pointer finger in the process. But anyway, I don't know. It's just one of those weird things. So anyway, that is the cold steel Lucky. They sell these for 75 bucks. It's worth every penny if you like these modern traditionals. I think it's really neat. And they also had a Lucky 1. It was the same thing, but it was called the Lucky 1, and it was kind of what you would think. It's just one blade instead of both. So it was just a plain edge blade. I believe it was an identical knife, even the same hardware. It's the same exact thing, it just doesn't come with this blade. I don't recall if those were originally cheaper or not. It is slightly less weight. I think those were like 0.9 ounces or something, like even lighter. But those were discontinued. And I have to imagine if the price was somewhat similar, why would you get just the one blade when you could just get the other one with both blades? So they decided to stop making the Lucky 1. So if you do find one, it's kind of cool, a little bit collectible, I suppose. But the regular Lucky, I believe, is still in production. At least, you know, the dealers carry them. Multiple dealers carry these. I saw that as recent of like maybe 2 months ago or so. But you guys can correct me if that is wrong information. Yeah, just a super cool knife. So I just want to share with you guys. It's a cold steel I love that is actually petite and lightweight, not, you know, 6 pounds and 30 inches long. Of course, that's an exaggeration, but I'm waiting for them to make that model. the 6XL Voyager. Come on, Cold Steel, make it happen. So anyway, well, you guys, if you don't know, I made a video already, I believe I did, but Cold Steel is now, you know, sold to whatever outdoors, I forget. So they seem to be doing pretty good though. I can't knock them. They're still coming out with new designs. I believe Lynn Thompson is still very much working with them. So he doesn't own the company anymore, but he's still very much involved, which is, you know, a good thing because he was very good for the company. But anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.